Fox Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Spectacular venue in downtown Detroit, Michigan, Ford Field, and back to football. Just moments away from this opening Sunday of the 2013 season. A pleasure to be joined, as always, by Laura Oakman. Laura?
Hi, Tom. Jim Schwartz told me this is the most excited he has ever been about a Lions team heading into a season. He said, I know our label is an undisciplined team, but the only way we're going to shed that is by playing through it. I want us to be aggressive. I want us to be confident, but I want us to have learned from our mistakes. I like this team to do that. I like how we've grown. Tom, nowhere is that growth more evident than Ndamukong Suh being named captain on Friday for the first time in his career.
Boy, thank you very much. Jim Schwartz, his fifth season as head coach of the Lions, took him to the playoffs 2 years ago, then only 4 wins last year, ending the season with 8 straight losses. For Leslie Frazier, he led the Vikings to the NFC playoffs in just his second full season as head coach, and returns 18 of 22 starters. That one booted to the deepest part of the end zone, where Michael Spurlock will take a knee, and the Lions will put it in play at the 20-yard line, led, of course, by the 27-year-old Tyrone, Georgia native Calvin Johnson, setting the single-season record for receiving yards in a year 1 season ago. The only player ever to eclipse 1,900.
Everybody's looking for that big impact receiver. Well, you look that up in the dictionary, there's a picture of Calvin Johnson.
Quarterback Matthew Stafford comes out under center and finds Johnson and threw it behind him, second down and 10. Some of the names and faces we'll be keeping an eye out for on this Detroit offense.
Well, Riley Reef has gone to the left side to protect Matthew Stafford's backside. We talked about Reggie Bush. They need to have balance in the running game, and Brandon Pettigrew needs to be the balance to the aforementioned Calvin Johnson.
The Lions, a second down and 10 from the 20. And the first carry is a Lion for Reggie Bush, and that'll be a gain of 12 up to the 32-yard line, tripped up by Chad Greenway. Bush, a former Heisman Trophy winner, #1 pick of New Orleans.
And this is the kind of run you expect from a Reggie Bush in this pass-dominant offense. Just a little bit of hesitation on the draw. Reggie Bush getting into that second level. This guy is bigger and more powerful than most people think of in terms of a first and second down running back.
Bush spent his first 5 years in New Orleans, traded to Miami 2 years ago, where he's averaged better than 1,000 yards rushing over his 2-year stay with the Dolphins. Play action. And the catch is made, a short gain. The rookie Joseph Fourier out of UCLA. Minnesota defensively taking a big hit after the injury to Kevin Williams in the preseason. He will not play today.
Yeah, but Jared Allen is still there, and he's going to put a lot of pressure on him. Chad Greenway backs up the linebackers. And in the secondary, Chris Cook may draw the duty of Calvin Johnson, and Smith in the backfield. This guy reminds me of Paul Krause, the great Viking deep free safety. He's going to pick off a lot of balls this year. He hopes to get a couple today.
Batted down by Jared Allen. They had set up the screen for Reggie Bush.
This is an athletic play. Jared Allen is trying to get around the edge. All of a sudden, he sees the ball thrown. For an athlete like that to transition from an outside rush to falling off the ball, if that thing had bounced straight up, he might have had himself an interception.
Well, Jared Allen has worn out the Lions. In his career, 14 sacks, forced 4 fumbles, has an interception returned for a touchdown. Of course, all those encounters lined up against Jeff Backus, and now it's a rookie, the second year, left tackle Riley Reef. Underneath to Reggie Bush, and another big gain. He's out close to midfield in the first down.
This is where Reggie Bush can be at his best. When he first went to New Orleans, Tom, he wasn't a 300 carry guy. He was 155 rushes with 70 to 80 receptions. That's kind of the ratio that I think Scott Lanahan, the offensive coordinator for Detroit, is looking for. Maybe a 200 carry season, but if they can get the ball in his hand in the receiving game 60, 70 times, that's a lot of offensive productivity.
Bush split to the right in the slot. Showing Bell in the backfield. They fake it to both of them. And Bell inside the 30. Tripped up to the 22-yard line.
This is the Reggie Bush effect, Tom. Watch, you're going to see Bush come along in motion here like a possible reverse. Maybe he's going to get the screen on the other side. That draws the attention of the Minnesota Vikings and sets up a screen in behind this big offensive line.
That's a gain of 29 yards. Bell, a great story a season ago, getting a chance to play in that 52 receptions. Out of the backfield for the Lions. 7th play on this opening drive, and Stafford out of shotgun. Slant to Johnson, his first catch, and it's a first down to the 11-yard line.
We're seeing it all from the Lions right now. This new Lion offense that quite frankly struggled a little bit in preseason, but who cares? You didn't see Calvin Johnson. You didn't see Reggie Bush. Now you're seeing how Scott Lanahan plans on using Reggie Bush, not only as a primary guy, but as a decoy. And then what happens? You come back and hit your big man, Calvin Johnson.
About a foot short of a first down. Bush didn't need much, but didn't get much. It depends on the spot. It appears as though he did not get there. Fred Evans, the first man to meet him.
This is an interesting test for the Detroit Lions, Tom. 3rd and 1. Now, we've talked about the last couple of years they couldn't run the ball a lick. But what can they do now in a 3rd and 1? Can they hand it off to Reggie Bush in the backfield to get a first down?
They're going to throw it. And it's incomplete. My, oh my. You march straight down the field. You get to 2nd down and a foot. You can't run it. You try to throw it on 3rd and a foot, and out comes the field goal unit.
I get that strategically because you got to be thinking run the ball. You want to run the ball more. There's Reggie Bush. But all of a sudden now to pull that out. Now Reggie Bush, that has been the problem right there. Hopefully working on his hands, not a big deal. Him staying healthy for the season is obviously one of the reasons he's here in Detroit and no longer in New Orleans and Miami.
31-yard field goal try, and it's fumbled on the snap. And the Detroit Lions are not going to score after marching down the length of the field on this season opening drive.
Well, we always look at the field goal as being kind of a no-brainer, but it's 3 points. The snap, the hold, and the kick, they could not execute it. That's emotionally devastating to the Lions here at home.
So we get our first look at Adrian Peterson and the Vikings.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
First offensive play for Minnesota, and naturally you hand it to Adrian Peterson across midfield. And Peterson on the first play from scrimmage will go the distance for a touchdown. 78 yards on Peterson's first touch in a season where his quest is 2,500 rushing yards. Oh, goodness.
Are you kidding me? You could not have scripted this better for the Vikings or worse for the Detroit Lions. Adrian Peterson, maybe the most explosive back in the league. Forget how tough he runs. This guy leads the league in big plays. That wasn't size, that wasn't power, that was just seeing the hole and turning on the Jets.
Point after by Blair Walsh is good, and my oh my, the pendulum swings so quickly. The Lions march down the field, come up empty. First play, Peterson off to the races. Minnesota, a 7-0 lead.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Bud Light, the official beer of NFL fans. Here we go.
Adrian Peterson, ho-hum. Last year, 27 carries, 20 or more yards. And on his first touch, why not smile, young man? 78 yards to pay dirt. It should be noted, Brian, that both of the holders in this game are rookie punters. And for both holders, their first game today in the NFL, though we've already seen a critical play in the special teams.
Well, let's go back and look at this play, Tom. It's, I tell you what, I want you to watch the way the Detroit Lions overrun this. And you can see right here, look at this gap, the way they overrun it. And this block right here by Ellison. He's in for the suspended Felton. What a one-on-one block on the backside. Over pursued by the Detroit Lion defense. You cannot do that to Adrian Peterson because you will pay a price, and they paid the price there.
And Jerome Felton, a three-time Pro Bowl fullback, suspended the first 4 games of this season by the NFL for violating a substance abuse policy. And right from the get-go, Ellison delivers a big block, and now Reggie Bush, a first down carry, a gain of close to 7, wrapped up by Aaron Henderson.
You were talking about those rookie punters a minute ago, Tom. As a coach, you worry about getting a rookie punter, but one of the things you really don't think about, and you should, they're usually your holders too. So you got rookie holders. You really don't think about that until, like we just saw right there, a muffed field goal attempt.
No.
Gain of 7 by Bush, second down and 3. Crossing pattern red, beautiful by the rookie Xavier Rhodes. Let's check in downstairs with Laura.
The good news is Reggie Bush is out there, as we see, but the entire time he was over on the bench before, the trainers were working on that left thumb. We saw him before he even left the field. He called the trainers over in a hurry. They were working on the thumb the whole time, taped him up, and he's back in.
Laura, thank you.
Double.
Off the left side, and Bush for maybe a yard or 2. Patrick Edwards converting on that first down. Short throw to him. Edwards a big part of this offense going into this season for the Lions. They're not sure how Ryan Broyles, the second-year wide receiver coming off his second ACL surgery in as many years, is going to hold up. He's inactive today, so Edwards, that was his first career catch.
Well, they're throwing a lot of these quick slants to affect the linebackers, the Vikings. They better be careful with that because you're going to guess wrong. That could lead to an interception.
John Perry, our referee.
Encroachment. Defense. Number 90. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Boy, those are the penalties that just irritate you as a coach. You got them in a second and long. Now you've got it. You work so hard on first down to get them in a second and long because now the play calling defensively that's right up your alley. Now all of a sudden you put them down in a second medium. Teams work awful hard to get to a second medium. You don't want to just give it to them because of the penalty.
Ricky, got you.
Second down and 4 for Stafford, looking around, and he'll run it. And he has enough for the first down up to the 47-yard line, caught from behind by Jared Allen.
Tom, if you want to know what the Minnesota Vikings are doing defensively, just find the safeties. They're going to tell you on every snap. You're going to see by the depth of the safeties of where they're at. Sanford and Smith, you watch how deep they are. If they're way back up in here, it's probably cover 2. Watch for one of them to drop in to make it a single high safety, and all of a sudden now you'll know where Matthew Stafford wants to go.
Reggie Bush breaks it off to the left side and has another first down carry to the Minnesota 42-yard line. Very good start today for Reggie Bush.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. You just saw the safeties good and high. For Matthew Stafford, that means that the box is right. I can run against this, and you know what? I got a guy now that can do some damage if I hand that run off in Reggie Bush. This is going to open up the Detroit Lion offense in a way they've not been able to utilize it in 2 years.
It's an 11-yard pickup for Bush. His first 4 carries here in Detroit, 31 rushing yards. Caught down the middle of the field, and again, that's a very talented Fourier, the rookie out of UCLA, an undrafted free agent this year.
They love this guy, his size. He's every bit of 6'7" and has got long, long arms. That is a huge sweep spot for the quarterback, Matthew Stafford. You got to go a long way to miss this guy. Now, he is long. He's got to stay healthy. But as an undrafted free agent, this was one of those gems you love getting in the offseason.
Fourier caught 85 passes his final 2 seasons for the Bruins, yet undrafted this year. 7th play of this drive. Into the end zone. And a touchdown for Calvin Johnson.
This is a magnificent play, a magnificent throw on the inside. You can see Calvin Johnson. It looks like Harrison Smith thinks he's going to step in here and get him an easy pickoff. But Calvin Johnson, look at the accuracy of this. Calvin Johnson just reaches up and snatches the ball away from Harrison Smith for the touchdown.
Stafford 2 years ago threw 41 touchdowns. That number slipped to 20 last year. The officials on every scoring play, as you know, will review the play to make sure it was a catch. It was a touchdown for Johnson. Boy, the Stars, they come to play, don't they, Brian? Before kickoff, the 2 guys we talked about, a record-setting NFL season last year for Johnson, nearly a record-setting rushing season for Adrian Peterson, and both guys already not even midway through the opening quarter a touchdown.
Tom, this game has been, is now, and will always be about talent. And as you said, this is as talented as it gets. That is a huge play. That had at least a breakup, maybe an interception all over it. And they're looking at it here to see, was there any kind of movement? What do you hear? The process. Is he have it under control to the ground? Well, that's going to be a tough one to turn it over. I think he has control. It may have moved around in his hand, but I don't think it left his hand again. As long as you have control, ooh boy,
I don't know.
Like that did roll out. Wow. You'll remember it was Calvin Johnson in that Chicago game we did a couple years ago that brought this whole thing of catching it through the process into focus.
It appeared as though that ball came out of his hands and was trapped momentarily.
I thought he had control through, but that last shot looked like it did move out of his hands. As long as you have it between your hands, but you can see as the ball hits the ground, I don't know that he completed the process. We're going to see right here. He's fine. He's fine. He's fine. But I want you to watch how that thing right there, watch how it starts to move. He loses control of it right here. This thing may be turned around. He definitely lost control. I thought he had. If you have both hands on the ball and it hits the ground, you're okay as long as you've got control. He didn't have control.
Well, they're taking an extended look at this one.
Well, they're taking a while to look at this now.
After reviewing the play, it's an incomplete pass. This is the player who's going to the ground who must maintain possession of the football throughout the catch. Incomplete pass. Please reset the game clock to 6:17.
Let's bring in Mike Pereira from Los Angeles. Mike, you agree with that call?
Yeah, I do, and you guys were all over it. That's the old dreaded process, the process of the catch when you're going to the ground. The one element that brought it a little bit into question was, did he maintain control long enough to do a football act, which is extending the ball into the end zone. But he's really on his way to the ground, and the ball does come loose from his hands there, so that is the process rule.
We thank Mike Pereira. Of course, great to have him with us back in Los Angeles. We'll be checking in with him throughout the entire year. So the ball is spotted just outside the 20 on a 2nd down and 10. And Reggie Bush to the 19-yard line.
Detroit's getting tested emotionally here. They drive the length of the field. They fumble the field goal. Adrian Peterson cranks out a 78-yard touchdown. They then now go down, get a huge play by their Megatron, Calvin Johnson, for it now be ruled incomplete. This is emotionally going to test these Lions.
This will be a 3rd down and 9. Underneath to Burleson, his first touch, and you can't read it any better than Josh Robinson. Step for step with Burleson. So out once more comes the field goal unit after another Detroit extended drive.
And they can take heart by the fact that they have moved the ball well. But at the end of the day, it's got to be accompanied by scores. The whole league's talking about time of possession, plays run. Well, that's all well and good. But if it doesn't come with scores, it's like empty calories in a diet. It means nothing. Eventually, it's got to lead to a score.
New punter, new holder, new kicker for the Lions. David Akers from 33 yards away and right down the middle to get the Lions on the board. The Vikings have run one play. The Lions, so far in this one, 127 total yards, but Minnesota leads.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving. By McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by Rockstar Games Grand Theft Auto 5, coming September 17th, rated M for mature.
Coach Billick, you brought up the Lions being tested emotionally after what has transpired these first 2 drives of their 2013 season. Does the field goal ease some of the sting, or are you sitting over there really disappointed right now?
It does ease some of the sting because you came out with something. And the response of this team, we talked about it in the open. The history of this Detroit Lion team and Jim Schwartz, some of the undisciplined things. This is some of the subtlety of that discipline that's going to be tested. They're glad to have the points.
Sam Martin boots it out of the end zone. We're in Detroit, Michigan. You're watching the NFL on Fox. What an exciting first 10 minutes for the Vikings and the Lions. Second play offensively for the Vikings. The first one went for 78 yards and a touchdown to that man, Adrian Peterson. He picks up close to 3. It's a big year for Christian Ponder.
It is. Matt Khalil has his backside with a very veteran established offensive line. They brought in Greg Jennings in the offseason, and Kyle Rudolph, a Pro Bowler last year. Cincinnati boy, isn't he?
He is. Cincinnati Elder High School and on to Notre Dame. Minnesota offensive line had all 5 starters started every game last year, and a nice play there in the backfield by Ashley Palmer. He is a first-year starter at linebacker. Let's send it back to Los Angeles for a game break.
We head to Indianapolis, where Andrew Luck, 5 for 5 on the drive, 89 yards, finds Reggie Wayne in the end zone. But I got to tell you, we're still buzzing about Adrian Peterson's first touch of the season.
Third down and 11. Minnesota from its own 19. And Ponder has to eat it. 3 and out. McFarley. They're hoping he can stay healthy for an entire season. Physical, aggressive defensive tackle. Former #1 pick out of Auburn.
That's the ultimate for the Detroit Lions, to be able to put pressure on the quarterback with a 4-man rush. That allows you to do anything you want in the back end to confuse a Christian Ponder, who has a tendency to stare down his targets.
Rookie punter Jeff Locke puts the left foot on it. And coming up to get it is Spurlock. Still on his feet, crosses midfield, so great field position for Stafford and the Lions, starting at the Minnesota 49-yard line. 7-3 Minnesota in front. Jason Fox making his first career start today at right tackle with a groin injury, and he's out of the game. Replacing him is Corey Hilliard. At right tackle for the Lions, Reggie Bush slips to the outside, and that'll be a gain of 3.
That is a big hit for the Lions. We talked earlier about they've moved Riley Reef, who played right tackle last year, to the left side to put in Jason Fox. Now, this is a young man they took in the 4th round in 2010. They've been developing him. They wanted to see how he was going to hold up on the right side. Now they've got to go in and see if Corey Hilliard can hold up this side of the line.
Should be noted that Hilliard has only started 5 games over his entire 5-year career. None last year. Of course, not a starter, but he's in there the rest of this one, it appears. Over the middle, caught by Johnson, and that's the first down to the 33-yard line. They are moving the football against this Minnesota defense with relative ease.
The key is they're doing it run and pass, which has not been the case for Detroit. Matthew Stafford is getting very comfortable with throwing to Calvin Johnson. As he said, I really had to learn. Just because there's 2 guys on Calvin Johnson doesn't mean he's covered. I can still throw the ball in there, and he is so intelligent in positioning his body. I'm very comfortable with throwing it in there.
Stafford has hit on 8 of his first 12, 103 yards. The give is to Joyke Bell. And behind that offensive line, he is close to another Lions first down.
And you can see the plan with the Detroit Lions, whether it's Joyke Bell or even Reggie Bush. They're attacking the inside of the defense of the Minnesota Vikings. Kevin Williams out, of course. There was a time when you didn't even try that against the Vikings on the inside. But with Kevin Williams out, them trying to hold up on the inside, you can clearly see the plan of the Lions is to attack the inside, make those backers step up and account for the running game, and then we can throw in behind them either to the tight end or Calvin Johnson.
Lions will spend their first time out here in the opening half. Trying to get into the end zone for the first time. It has been a wild one to get it going. Lions on the first possession of the game went down the field, a fumbled snap on a field goal try. They came up empty. Very next play from scrimmage, Peterson goes 78 yards. Lions thought they had a Calvin Johnson touchdown, but he did not have control through the process. They wound up with a field goal. And yet here they are again on their 3rd possession. And looking for pay dirt.
Well, down here in the red zone, Tom, at some point, this is the test for the Detroit Lions. You got to be able to run the ball. That's the difference between good teams and teams that are going to struggle. Not that they can't throw their way in, but at some point you have to be able to run the ball inside the red zone.
First down at 10. Crossing pattern, and it's dropped. Tony Scheffler, native of Chelsea, Michigan, had 42 catches a season ago, but only 1 touchdown. He was a big part of their offense the season before when they went to the playoffs. He had 6 receiving touchdowns.
Particularly in the red zone. That seemed to be where they would go to Scheffler, particularly in the end zone. They've got 2 big tight ends with Ian Pettigrew. They've added Joe Fourier now. These are big guys now with big sweep spots. Boy, he needed to come up with that one.
Johnson at the bottom of your screen. And looking for him. Josh Robinson kicking himself, thinking he got a finger on it. Maybe should have gotten the hands on it. 3rd down and 10 for the Lions.
And you're just on that cusp of, you're obviously in field goal range. You've got to be conscious of not a sack now taking you out of field goal range. That affects the play calling here a little bit. You certainly want to get the touchdown, but you don't want to run the risk of being sacked out of that range or possible range.
Trainer still looking at Reggie Bush. He's standing on the sideline for this 3rd and 10. Joyke Bell out of the backfield left alone and tries to fight his way to the first down marker. He appears to be about a yard short. Good open field tackle by Chris Cook.
This is just the last guy in the progression. This is not where Matthew Stafford was looking. It's touchdown and check down. The time-honored read, look to the end zone, work down. Decision time here as to what do the Vikings want to do.
And they will have the first quarter intermission to think about it as they'll walk to the other end. What a first quarter here in Detroit. Fox NFL Sunday continues after this.
Last series, second one, they couldn't run for it. Third one, they threw and couldn't get it. What are they going to do here?
They have Joyke Bell in the backfield. 3 receivers set. They give it to Bell. And he spins his way close to a first down. A late flag came in from the secondary.
Oh, wow. This looks like it's going to be a hold.
Holding, number 87, offense, 10-yard penalty.
Wow.
That's a tight end, Brandon Pettigrew, who is trying to move beyond his 2012 season. He had 9 drops, 2 lost fumbles, his lowest production since his rookie year of 2009. And much has been made of the Lions in penalties over the last couple of seasons. So now they will not attempt to go for it on 4th down. This will be a 42-yard field goal try by Akers out of the hold of Sam Martin. Good snap, good hold, and it's good. It is staggering the offensive numbers the Lions are putting on the board so far in this game in barely over a quarter. 162 total yards of offense, yet only 6 points. 78 of the 79 yards for Minnesota came on the touchdown run by Adrian Peterson.
And that time of possession, my goodness. You know, like we talked about, though, time of possession in and of itself doesn't add up to much unless you bring the points with it. So that's the challenge for Detroit. They've answered the challenge fairly well here, but they're doing some little things that concern you.
Well, coming up this Tuesday, it'll be the premiere of Being the Finest on Fox Sports 1. Follow the lives of NYPD officers who come together on the football field and honor their fallen brother through their unforgettable 2013 season. We have that game for you, you may remember, on Fox. It premieres Tuesday only on Fox Sports.
That is a heck of a series. I tell you what, you ever question about the value of competitive athletics and character building, team building, you got to watch that series.
Well, maybe we'll get the first touch of the career of Cordero Patterson, the rookie out of Tennessee. Nope, booted out of the end zone. Christian Ponder's 25 years old. He grew up in Colliesville, Texas. Today making his 27th career start, but this year is just his 2nd year as the full-fledged starter. Led him to 10 wins. They won their final 4 games of the season to get into the playoffs. He certainly proved that he can win a close game, can lead a 4th quarter comeback, can win a big game, get you to the postseason. First down throw on the button, and that'll be very close to a first down. The first catch is a Minnesota Viking for the 7-year Green Bay Packer, Greg Jennings.
What Greg Jennings brings to this Viking team was the much-needed experience at receiver, beyond the physical abilities. Very young receiving corps. That guy that Christian Ponder now can lean on, along with the other young receivers he has, to kind of lead the way to this expanded, more productive passing offense of the Vikings.
Second and a yard, they're going to throw it. And it's intercepted by Levy. And he's on his way to the end zone. A penalty flag is on the play. So we will wait. And there's an injured Viking on the far side of the field. Off the fingertips of Jerome Simpson into the arms of DeAndre Levy. But a penalty flag, we wait. A big call here.
After the interception, during the return, personal foul, illegal low block, number 90. 15-yard penalty, 1st and 10.
So that is a second touchdown that has been taken away in this game for the Lions.
This is a quarterback's worst nightmare. Getting the ball out very quickly. Just a straight in route. It bounces off the receiver's hands right into the hands of the linebacker, DeAndre Levy.
And that was the kind of play that the NFL changed the rule this year. Right there, the block on the center, John Sullivan by Ndamukong Suh, where you have to get out in front. In this case of Sullivan, he was cut from the side. And that is a personal foul against Ndamukong Suh, and Sullivan was helped off the field. He's coming off microfracture knee surgery during the offseason.
And once again, as you mentioned, Tom, one of the little discipline things that right now is hurting the Detroit Lions.
So first down from the 39-yard line, and Stafford has it batted into the air, and it's intercepted on the very next play by Henderson. Tipped as Stafford threw it, and that was easy pickings for the first-year starting middle linebacker for Minnesota. This is some kind of start to this game. Settle in.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by the 2013 Ford F-150 with EcoBoost, by the Samsung Galaxy S4, the next big thing is here, and by KFC, the official sponsor of Couchgating. KFC plus football equals Couchgating.
Back-to-back turnovers. Minnesota has the football. First down from the 34. Fake it one way, Ponder rolling the other, wide open, the MVP of last year's Pro Bowl. And that's a big hit tight end, Kyle Rudolph. Steps out of bounds at the Detroit 44-yard line.
Well, if you're going to run the ball well with Adrian Peterson, this is exactly what you want out of Christian Ponder. The play fake. He's got good speed. He gets out around the edge and gets to a wide open Rudolph. Those are kind of the easy extended handoff plays that Christian Ponder loves to have. And it's set up because of the running of Adrian Peterson.
Down to the 44, and Peterson dropped behind the line of scrimmage. It's a nice play by Glover Quinn.
Got to go back to how this was set up. You're going to see right here a great inside rush by Evans. Gets those big long arms up, tips the ball, falls right into the hands of Aaron Henderson for an interception.
Minnesota leads 7-6. Under 13 minutes to play until halftime, and Ponder, short drop, looking for the long ball down the sideline, and it is caught. Penalty flag on the play. Jerome Simpson inside the 10-yard line, down to the 4. What a throw by Ponder.
And you could debate it could be on either one of these guys. Did Simpson push off? Or was he held? I think the defender's going to get called.
Defense number 23, contact without playing the ball. The result of the play was a catch. Penalty's been declined. First down.
Yeah, you're going to see Chris Houston here. He's trailing. He's good position. Simpson, not much of a push. I thought maybe he raised his hand up there. I think Houston thought maybe he was going to get pushed on and reached up and grabbed him.
44-yard gain. They're expecting big things. They were a year ago out of Simpson after his big 2011 season with the Bengals. But it did not play out that way. First down. And Peterson into the end zone. A touchdown, his second of the day.
Adrian Peterson, I tell you what, we talked with Louis Delmas, and this is exactly what he talked about. His worst nightmare is him getting to that second level, because he said, this guy, I don't care if you're the best of the best, and this is Delmas coming in here. He says it's a 50-50 at best of you getting this guy down. They couldn't even get him down on the ground there. We saw the speed of Adrian Peterson on his first touchdown. You saw the power of Adrian Peterson there.
Point after by Blair Walsh is good, and Minnesota with a 14-6 lead. Already a pair of rushing scores for Adrian Peterson. And Minnesota, despite being dominated in every statistical category there is, Brian, as we know, there's only one set of numbers that means anything at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's all got to lead to points, and Detroit's being challenged emotionally in a way that, you know, from a coaching standpoint, great. Are we up to the challenge? Don't know that I'd want it in the opening game, down 14-6, but hey, these are the type of things that build the team. Jim Schwartz talking to our Laura Oakman before the game saying, I like this team. I like the emotional makeup of this team. It's being tested right now.
Of course, two of his big stars, Calvin Johnson, could not hang on after diving into the end zone on a would-be touchdown, and then the penalty, the personal foul penalty by Ndamukong Suh, took away an interception by DeAndre Levy for a touchdown. First play bobbled on the exchange. Let's go back to that penalty on Suh. This was a play the NFL took a long, hard look at after what happened to Brian Cushing last year.
Yeah, and this is the key right here. Suh blocking back, and this is, you're right, this is the hot topic. He goes down on Sullivan right into here. This is the area that you've got to see, and they're trying to protect the players. The question is, where can you legally block a guy at the point of attack? And that cost him a touchdown there.
Second down, and they set up the screen to Reggie Bush. And he's up to the 28-yard line. It'll bring up third down and 2 for the Lions as we wind down to the 11-minute mark until halftime.
The Detroit Lions desperately need a well-orchestrated long drive. I'll take it on one play if you give it to me, but a long orchestrated drive where they don't shoot themselves in the foot, they execute properly, stay disciplined, and bring this thing back into a 14-13, or if they should choose to go for the 2-point. I don't know with this early, but they desperately need that to show that they can get themselves gathered back emotionally to what's going on in the game right now.
Called it 3rd and 2. Under pressure. Stafford avoids it. Throws incomplete to Chris Durham. So the Lions this time 3 and out. Both Robinson and Allen applying pressure to Stafford for the first time really in the game today.
Yeah, the tackles have held up very well for the Detroit Lions so far, although again the pressure put on Stafford tends to be more subtle. But that was the concern obviously coming into the game for Detroit. So far Riley Reef, excuse me, and now the Hilliard in place of Fox has held up pretty good.
Punt up to the 30, I guess spotted to the 39.
Well, Wednesday, an all-new episode of The Ultimate Fighter. The tension between rival coaches Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate boils over when their #1 pick squares off in one of the most shocking battles in the Ultimate Fighter history. Don't miss an all-new episode of The Ultimate Fighter this Wednesday, only on Fox Sports 1.
I'll tell you what, for a guy who started handling some of the promos 2 years ago,
hey,
you are among the elite of the elite now.
The more you can do, brother, the more you can do. I've learned that too.
First down, Peterson looking for running room, bottled up in the backfield. That will be a 3-yard loss. Really, it's been one big carry for Peterson. The first play from scrimmage offensively for the Vikings. Broke it for 78 yards and a touchdown. Other than that, he actually has negative yardage since then. He did have the short plunge into the end zone. So there you get a look. His last 5 carries for a total of -4 yards. Laid off out of the backfield, and that is Zach Line, young man who grew up just down the road in Oxford, Michigan. In fact, the last time he played here at Ford Field, he scored 4 touchdowns, rushed for 210 yards, and led his team with 13 tackles. That was in a high school game.
Well, we've already talked about the loss of Jerome Felton for the Vikings. Zach Line and Red Ellison are kind of filling in that role. No team, it's third down, you won't see it, but no team gets into the eye and runs downhill more than the Minnesota Vikings, and these 2 young guys are filling in the void right now.
Toby Gerhart is checked in. Dangerous throw by Ponder. It should have been intercepted by Bill Bentley. That should have been a pick 6 the other way.
Well, I told you that Ponder tends to stare things down. This is just a simple curl route. We saw 2 of these the last time we had these 2 teams a couple years ago, Tom, with back-to-back interceptions in the same type of situation. Christian Ponder kind of staring down that curl route that gave the safety a chance to jump on the ball.
So on to punt. Highest drafted punter in Minnesota Vikings team history, Jeff Locke, puts a left foot on it. Returnable for Spurlock, and nowhere to go. Great coverage down there by their starting quarterback Josh Robinson. Penalty flag is down.
During the kick, holding, return team, number 59. That penalty will be enforced from the end of the kick. Timeout on the field.
With penalties and some sloppy play hurting the Lions, we're in the Motor City for the opening weekend on Fox. Well, after the penalty, the Lions get the football with 9:11 to play until halftime, backed up to their own 7-yard line. For the Vikings in front, 14-6. And Reggie Bush, who's had a good start to his Lions career in his debut here today. Out across the 10 up to the 12-yard line. Lapped up by Chad Greenway.
And this is what the Lions have to discipline themselves to do. That's a good solid run. If you can get 4 plus 4 yards on a first down run, that's a win. That puts you in a manageable second down. Now, you're willing to follow up with another run, or as is their history, you're going to throw the ball.
They're going to throw the ball. And that is a catch up to the 18-yard line, very close to a first down, and it is to Nate Burleson. Of course, Burleson a season ago suffered a broken leg. 11-year veteran for his first 3 years in Minnesota, next 4 in Seattle, and had his first 2 seasons with the Lions where he averaged better than 60 catches per season. Bush.
Tom, let's check in on Riley Reef. We talked about him going to the left side with tough duty against Jared Allen. Jared Allen getting that first big knockdown. He's testing now. He's going inside. He's going outside. He's doing a bull rush. But for the most part, Riley Reef is holding up very, very well. This was a big physical run-blocking lineman out of Iowa that had to develop his pass protection skills. And so far, he's doing good against the All-Pro, Jared Allen.
Bush looking for running room and just takes what he can get, diving forward up to the 23-yard line. It'll bring up another third down for the Lions.
Well, now on third down is where you'd expect, obviously, when you've got receivers like Calvin Johnson. We've talked about them using their tight ends with Pettigrew and Scheffler. They got the new young man Joseph Fourier, but this is where Reggie Bush, I'm interested to see if he lines up out of the backfield. Reggie Bush is out. They've decided to go to a bunch combination. Interesting on a third medium to not have Reggie Bush in the game.
Saw Joy Bell come out of the backfield. He had 52 catches out of there for him last year. He's in there now, and that's who they had an eye on, and it's batted down at the line of scrimmage. Stafford looking for Bell on that crossing pattern, matched up in a favorable condition, but knocked down at the line of scrimmage. And the Lions forced a punt with 6:29 to play until halftime.
That was rookie Sharif Floyd in the middle that got his hand up. That's the second inside batted ball that Matthew Stafford has had now, and that is dangerous. And that thing bounces up straight in the air. It seems like it takes forever to come down.
Sherrill's returned a punt for a touchdown here last season. Flag down. And Sherrill's out to the 32. Well, it's so nice to have you with us on this first Sunday of the NFL season. We've been waiting and waiting and waiting to get going. Of course, Brian Billick, you start all your physical training, your mental training, getting ready for the season.
I was on the bike big time this summer. Had some great bike rides. I'm fit and ready to go.
You mean like around the corner? Or you mean
no, baby. We have
block in the back. Return team, number 29. 10-yard penalty. First down. Timeout on the field.
That's a rookie, Xavier Rhodes. So while Billick jumps on the stationary bike in the back of the booth, we will take a timeout.
Well, Tom, you talk about what do you do with your possessions. That's only 4 plays, but it counts for 2 touchdowns and 153 yards.
Out of the I formation, they pitch it to Peterson. The Lions have done a nice job. Now, you look at the numbers as we showed you a little while ago. The 78-yard touchdown on his first carry. This has not been a venue for Adrian Peterson where he has tended to play his best football. He has only averaged in his career in Detroit less than 80 yards per game.
And what I'm seeing that you don't normally see with Adrian Peterson, you don't usually see a lot of second and longs. That's the thing you love about it. He's going to get a good positive, even if it's just 1 or 2 yards. We've been in a bunch of second and 13s, second and 14s.
Peterson once more, and once more, no running room. Dropped by the rookie Ezekiel Ansah out of BYU. Bruising defensive end, and they think he will just, is such a raw talent, only played 3 years of football.
It was interesting. They took Ziggy Ansah in the first round. A lot of people question that, but I'm visiting with Martin Mayhew, the general manager. Had they not had him in the Senior Bowl, they passed up taking Barkevius Mingo, who went to Cleveland, Sheldon Richards from the Jets, Star Lotulelei to the Panthers. They think it's going to pay off in taking Ziggy Ansah.
Screen to Simpson, and he won't get anywhere near a first down. So a 3 and out for the Minnesota offense, and the Lions with 2 timeouts remaining. We'll get the football back with roughly a little more than 4 minutes to play until halftime.
Now you go back to that well-orchestrated drive that I talked about earlier. That's what Jim Schwartz needs for something positive for his Lions to take in the locker room, saying, guys, see all the stuff that's happened to us in the first half, and we're still right there. That's what he's going to want to build on, but he needs a good series by his offense here.
Low, short, punt, Spurlock from the 35. And he's tackled at the 46. So once more, great field position, as there is a penalty flag just beyond the line of scrimmage.
While the kick was in the air, illegal block, kicking team, number 52. That 10-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. 1st and 10.
So the field position is going to be better after the penalty. As always, we welcome our men and women serving America in the armed forces, watched in 175 countries and aboard ships at sea on AFM, the American Forces Network. As always, we cannot thank you for all you do. God bless you and your families serving the greatest country in the world. What a wild half it has been. Lions on their opening drive go down the field. They had a 2nd and 1, couldn't do it. 3rd and 1, couldn't do it. Botch snap, no points. Peterson goes 78 yards on the next play. Johnson had a touchdown taken away when he couldn't finish the reception of the end zone. It's been a very good half of football for Reggie Bush. And that is a first down carry of 6. And it gets back to something, Brian, you brought up a little while ago. The Lions talk about being committed to the run now with Bush here. But as we have seen multiple times already, first down run, good run, then it's throw it, throw it, throw it, as we saw in the last drive.
And there's nothing wrong with that as the change-up or figuring, okay, they're going to think we're going to run here. But again, if they're truly going to develop any continuity in the running game, it's these types of situations. They've got to be comfortable running the ball back to back.
Reggie Bush 51 rushing yards on 11 carries, and that one blown dead before it ever got started. And this will be, I believe, against the Lions.
False start, offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
That's a rookie at right guard, Larry Warford out of Kentucky. They took him in the 3rd round. He went into training camp with a battle for that right guard position with Gandy, and we've seen them both today.
And there again, we talk about you put yourself in a hard-earned 2nd medium, and now a mental error puts you back to a 2nd and 10.
Catch, hit, fumble. Is it a fumble or an incompleted pass? Saying the ground caused the fumble, or the official pointing at the ground, and incomplete is a call on the field.
And they lucked out on this one that it wasn't a fumble. Didn't have complete possession of the ball, did Brandon Pettigrew. Now the dreaded 3rd and long. It said they needed a good solid drive. They put themselves into a real easy 2nd and 5. The penalty makes it 2nd and long, and now you've got to convert on a 3rd and 9.
Vikings showing blitz. Drop back into coverage. They put it in the hands of Pettigrew, and he's lost the football. And Harrison Smith has it. We talked about Pettigrew trying to put last year behind him. All the drops, the 2 lost fumbles, and puts it on the ground here, and Minnesota gets it back.
Well, when Jim Schwartz came in, their first 2 picks were Matthew Stafford and Brandon Pettigrew, and you're exactly right. Very promising to start his career in the last couple years. Right there, that's just focus on. You got to know when you're going to be a tight end and catch the ball, you have got to hang on to it. You got to know that the DBs, in that case Josh Robinson, came in, did a nice job stripping it. But you got to be prepared for that kind of thing as a tight end. You catch the ball in confined spaces. You're not a wide receiver. You got to be prepared for that.
So now the Vikings with the ball, and that'll be interference on the rookie Darius Slay, trying to defend Jerome Simpson.
You see this all the time. Slay's going to trail in behind this deep slant route. He got a hold of the jersey there, and he brought his hand around. You can put your hand on the receiver. You just can't grab him nor alter his course. Slay's going to have to learn to be a little sneakier than that.
Got to ask you, Brian. I would imagine this has to be a critical possession for Jim Schwartz's defense. All of the things, as you pointed out a moment ago, that have gone wrong, and you were still in it. But when you start looking at some of these things right there, the miscues, if Minnesota sticks it in the end zone, what a blow that would be.
Those numbers define the consistency and discipline of your football team that they've got to get back under control.
Perfect throw once more to Simpson, and Ponder took a shot as he delivered the football from Willie Young.
Wow, and another penalty along the sideline, I think. What did we just talk about? The discipline. Here you can see a good pass rush, and he's got a hold of him. He just kind of going down. He didn't throw him to the ground. You're fine there, but look at this. I thought I saw a penalty come in here. I don't know if they're John with one. Yep, there's the penalty right there.
And again, that is another point
After
of
the play,
emphasis
right
during
there.
the
Unsportsmanlike
offseason.
contact.
Right there.
Defense.
He'd have been
Number
fine
22,
just John at him, but he
20,
headbutted him.
15-yard penalty.
And this is one of your
First down.
leaders. Louis Delmas is the guy that they talked about. Gunther Cunningham talked about his safeties. Glover Quinn and Louis Delmas as being the key to what they're going to do defensively. That's the kind of discipline we keep talking about, Tom, that the players, it seems to already be spinning out of control a little bit. This is going to be the challenge to bring this back under control, both on and off the field, by the players and by the coaches.
So it would have been at the Minnesota 47 after the penalty. It's all the way down to the Lions 37. Play action, Ponder. Has his arm grabbed and it floats into the arms of Stephen Tulloch. A pressure by Willie Young and Ndamukong Suh. One of them got enough of Ponder's arm where he couldn't throw it out of bounds.
Well, we said the inside rush is where it's going to catch you. He turns his back to the defense. Great inside, then outside pressure by Young. At that point, Ndamukong Suh gets a hand on him. He's got to pull the ball down. Christian Ponder, particularly going to your left as a right-handed quarterback, nothing's good is going to come by just throwing this type of thing up. He's not in a position to really throw the ball here. This is a huge mistake on the part of Christian Ponder.
Easy interception. So now the football back to the Lions. 2 timeouts remaining plus a 2-minute warning. And they're going to come out throwing. Johnson sits down, is tackled right there by the rookie Xavier Rhodes at the 35-yard line. And that will take us down to the 2-minute warning. 14-6 Minnesota. The Lions with the football. We'll be back. Well, after the interception, Tulloch on Ponder. Detroit with the football. 2-minute warning. And it's a second down. The Lions at their own 37-yard line. Stafford. Completed throw. Good enough for a first down to Burleson, and the clock continues to run.
Reggie Bush is in the backfield. That's a guy in this situation that could play a huge part of a drive here, taking him down the field.
They're going to run it. And Bush trying to break it to the outside, lost his footing. Are they going to spend a timeout here? As Bush is slow to get up. And that clock is continuing to run.
Oh, boy, you got to speed this up, guys.
And now penalty flags come in. This will be against the Lions. I'll tell you what,
boy,
it's one thing to talk. It's another thing to walk the walk. And as Bush comes off, he's already had a thumb injury in the game.
Offense, number 71, 5-yard penalty, second down.
I would imagine, Brian, for a lot of Lions fans, they're saying same old, same old.
Well, here's a discussion on the sideline. Now Captain Ndamukong Suh talking to Nick Fairley. That's Louis Delmas listening in. You know, a lot of criticism come to Jim Schwartz about the discipline of the team, but it's got to come down to the players. Now, I don't know what they're talking about, but somehow they got to find it.
Beautiful throw and catch to Burleson will make you forget about that penalty. He's all the way to the 34. Stafford took a hit, and he's racing up to the line of scrimmage. He appears a little bit wobbly.
Yeah, he looks like he took maybe a shot to the ribs, maybe a shoulder. They need to call a timeout here and find out what's going on with their quarterback.
Let's take a look.
This is just a beautiful seam route. Nice legal hit now. They're just Jared Allen hitting below the helmet, above the knee. It looked like maybe he came down, maybe in the ribs as compared to the shoulder. I think he's going to be okay. No one questions the toughness of Matthew Stafford. We've seen this kid take some hits now and come back and play.
For his first 2 years in the league, he couldn't avoid getting hurt. In fact, we saw him take that shot in Chicago where he injured his shoulder, wound up costing him the rest of the year. 19 games he missed those first 2 seasons. None the last 2.
Under!
First down to the 36, and Stafford in the pocket to Bell out of the backfield. Good yardage by Bell. Boy, Bell is really an amazing story. He grew up in Benton Harbor, Michigan. Went to nearby Wayne State, won the Harlan Hill Trophy as the best player in Division II. 5 teams signed him, waived him, put him on the practice squad. 2 years ago in New Orleans, the Lions signed him for the final game of the regular season that year. And last year, he had over 50 catches out of their backfield, and right now he's in there for Reggie Bush.
Come your way down.
Bell once more. Still on his feet. Bangs his way for extra yardage to the 13. This guy's a load now.
Well, Bell's become the bell cow, and it's interesting when you talk to the coaches about Reggie Bush. In their next breath, they say, but you know what? Joyce Bell's going to play well for us.
So first down, clock approaching 30 seconds until halftime. Stafford to Durham inside the 5-yard line. The infrequently used Chris Durham. And the clock continues to run. Down to 20 seconds. As Stafford barking out orders. Will hand it off, and Bell over the top, and the ball is loose. Unbelievable. Is it a touchdown? Did he break the plane? Is it a fumble? We are waiting. What an unbelievable occurrence this would be. And it is Minnesota football, unless we get a different signal from the officials on the field. They are getting together to talk about it.
They're going to have to look at this, because again now they're deciding whether to rule touchdown or not. That will bring about an automatic replay. This thing's going to be replayed either way, folks.
Did he break the plane?
Well, we got to see right here. Is it right there? It looks like he breaks the plane right there. But what's going to be key is, what do they rule? Because what they rule then has to be indisputable to overrule it. So this is big as to what they review. What they're obviously calling not a touchdown. We've not seen a touchdown. So now they're going to have to see that this is irrefutably crossing the goal line, because they ruled it as a fumble and Minnesota's ball, I believe. I have not seen them signal touchdown.
They did not signal touchdown. The ruling on the field is fumble, Minnesota ball. That's the ruling on the field. Mike Pereira, from where you're sitting back in Los Angeles, I know you're looking this stuff over again and again and again. Did he break the plane before the ball came loose?
Well, in my opinion, when you look down the line, remember, only the tip of the ball has to touch the plane. And when you're looking down the line, it would appear to me it does before the ball gets knocked out. Now, focus on the tip of the ball. Still controlled. There it gets knocked out. But again, if you take it right to that first point and stop it, I think the tip of the ball has broken the plane. And to me, if I'm in the booth, I say touchdown. But that's why I'm in this studio in LA, I guess.
Wow. And this is, if you're in a bar in Detroit, there's no question in your mind he broke the plane. But if you're sitting in knuckleheads in Minnesota, there's no question it didn't. It's all in the eye of the beholder. I think he crossed the plane here. Boy, this is one of the, you hate for it to come down, but that's why we have replay. We have the mechanism.
Well, here comes
to get it
John
right.
Perry. Huge call.
After reviewing the play, it is a touchdown. The ball broke the plane of the goal line prior to coming loose.
So the touchdown. And now the point after coming up, the try by Akers to bring the Lions within a point. This has been One of the most up and down roller coaster ride first halves of football you will ever see at any level at any time.
And Tom, this is what you've got to love about the game. With all the things that Detroit has done wrong, with the penalties, the interceptions, all the things that have kind of carried with them into this game from previous years, they can emotionally take back this game and wipe all this out with what they just did here if they can seize that emotion in the locker room. And now they're going to kick the extra point and be down only by 1 with all the things that have gone against them and that they've done to themselves.
Muehlbach will snap it. Martin will hold it. Akers will kick it. And it is indeed a 1-point game. Let's go to Kurt Menefee. Kurt, what's coming up on the Visa Halftime Report?
All right, coming up on the Visa Halftime Report live from Times Square. The boys and I will have all the highlights from a crazy already week 1, including Tom Brady off to a great start in Kansas City, looking good. That's coming up on the Visa Halftime live from Times Square.
We're blessed with a beautiful day there in New York City for the opening Sunday here on Fox to the 2013 NFL season.
Well, this is one they need to kick out of the end zone because you already talked about Cordero Patterson. The way this game's gone, if he has any chance to return it, this guy's capable of going to the house. This guy is a dynamic player out of the University of Tennessee as a receiver, return guy, the kind of in the mold they think can eventually evolve into the Percy Harvin role. Now, he's a long way from doing that, but this guy is a gifted athlete. Minnesota would love nothing more than at least to give him a chance to return the ball here to grab the emotion back.
And he has not had a chance today. This Martin kid has a leg, doesn't he? There's a reason why he's handling kickoff. Martin out of Appalachian State. Will you bring up that school in these parts? And you will get a scornful look at those that root for the maize and blue of Michigan. One of the great upsets in the history of college football just down the road in Ann Arbor.
Mountaineers will remember that one for a long time to come.
Well, the entire gang coming up from Times Square. And Ponder will just take a knee. And the first half will come to an end. What a half of football we've had at Ford Field. So Adrian Peterson, who broke the first one for 78 yards, been very quiet since. It's halftime. We go to Kurt Menefee in New York for the Visa Halftime, which starts now. Well, we are back in the Motor City, Detroit, Michigan, where the Vikings in this season opener in front of the Lions 14-13. We invite you to favorite your team. Follow it all season long. Just go to itunes.com/NFL. You know, Brian, we talk so much about the Lions and all their emotions on the up and down roller coaster ride in the first half. But if you're the Minnesota Vikings, what's Leslie Frazier saying to his team right now?
Well, we said coming in, you knew you can run the ball well, but Christian Ponder, how's he going to step into it right now? He's been okay, thrown for about 100 yards, these 2 interceptions, not all his doing.
Right.
They haven't converted on a third down. They're 0 for 3 on third down. That's where the quarterback has to put his imprint on the team. Right now, Minnesota's got to feel lucky to be up by 1.
Have you seen a half this wild in a long time?
We were just talking, well, the only thing we haven't seen maybe is the big return. Maybe we'll get one here.
Well, that one booted all the way nearly into the stands. Well, Laura Oakman, you had a chance to catch up with Coach Frazier at halftime. What do you have to say?
You said wild. I asked him, how do you describe this first half? He said, whoa. I haven't been involved in a game with so many ups and downs and twists and turns. He said they've done a great job on Adrian Peterson since that 78-yard touchdown, bottling him up, loading up the box. Said we've got to open up the passing lane to open up the run game. I asked Jim Schwartz about the penalties. He said, I'm not worried about the ones that happen within the game. That means we're playing aggressively. That's okay. What's not okay, the ones outside the play. They have one of those. He told them at half, go out there, don't worry about the first half, play and finish.
All right, Laura Oakman, thank you very much. What a number Detroit did indeed on Peterson after the 78-yard touchdown. So they're going to fake it to him on the first play in the second half. And Ponder will step out of bounds. And he's right back to the line of scrimmage. If you just looked at some of these numbers, you'd think this is a blowout.
Well, the turnovers have evened up. That's certainly important. The time of possession obviously in favor of the Lions. But like we said, unless it can turn into points, they had 2 opportunities for touchdowns early, had to come away with field goals. And right now that's the difference in the game, then being behind by 1.
Peterson, his last 7 carries have gone for a total of -8 yards. On the heels of the 78-yard touchdown run. Positive yardage, but not much of it. Maybe a yard and a half. DeAndre Levy up to make the stop. So on this opening possession, Minnesota facing a 3rd down and almost 9.
The defense has done a nice job bottling up Adrian Peterson. It's one of those conversations. I hate it when the coaches to me would come after the game. The defense coach said, you know, except for those 3 plays where we gave up 200 yards, we nailed this guy shut. Okay, well, let's talk about those 3 plays before you can start crowing about the holding them down the rest of the game.
4-man rush, and Fairley will drop Ponder all the way back at the 11-yard line.
Well, Nick Fairley takes a $3 cab ride. Look how long he has to come all the way around on this stunt to get home. Here yet another 3rd down that Minnesota does not convert on.
The Lions defensive tackles recorded the most sacks and had more total negative yardage plays than any pair of defensive tackles around the league. Penalty flag down. Fair catch by Spurlock at the 43, but we wait on a penalty.
I think Detroit's offsides. Oh, maybe not. I thought Rocky McIntosh had jumped off sides, but obviously he was pulled. Well, they're just trying to decide whether to take this or not.
Return team, number 52, 5-yard penalty. Minnesota's elected to re-kick. Replay 4th down.
Well, right now for a game break, let's return back to Los Angeles to Joel Klatt. Hi, Joel.
Well, guys, New Orleans could use a little of that stoutness up front with their defensive tackles after a Steven Jackson 50-yard run, Julio Jones the 4-yard TD catch, and now Tampa 17-13.
That's a good one, right, for a season opener there.
Yeah, you know, it still always comes down to the teams that you're talking about, how the defense is going to hold up in critical situations.
Let's remember now, after that last punt, the Lions would have had the ball at the 43-yard line. And this really isn't a better punt either. Not been a good day punting for Jeff Locke. Lions going to get the ball at midfield. Of course, for Locke, this is his NFL debut today. Take a look at the primary backs for both of these teams. Been a very good day for Reggie Bush. 78 yards on 1 carry by Peterson. Negative yardage ever since, although he does have a pair of touchdowns.
Like we said, the touches for Reggie Bush we expect to come both in the running game and in the passing game. I expect to see a little bit more out of him receiving here in this second half.
Of course, he was on the sideline a lot in the first half. Had a thumb injury and some kind of a leg injury. They fake it to him on the first play. And Burleson, a first down, still on his feet, dropped to the 28-yard line.
Well, we talk about the Reggie Bush effect, or I should say the Adrian Peterson effect. That's the Reggie Bush effect. A little counter fake. The defense flowing to the run fake, allowing Stafford to get around the edge with an easy completion to Burleson.
Stafford is hit on 19 of 29, 223 yards, but without a touchdown. He's thrown 1 interception. Bush's first carry of the second half, and it's a good one. Steps out of bounds at the 19-yard line, very close to a first down. It is a first down for Reggie Bush, who's knocking on the door at 90 yards.
Watch this jump cut of Reggie Bush. Sideways, and then boom, I'll come back the other way. Now show a little bit of the speed. Boy, this was missing so much from the Detroit offense. When they had Job at best a couple of years ago, they had that great balance. He brings that back to him. Look at that body lean, then the ability to accelerate, away from Greenway. That's signature Reggie Bush.
Reggie Bush, not much running room there, and Safford spins him down.
We've seen a couple gun handoffs to Reggie Bush by Matthew Stafford. I think we may very well see a fake draw to Reggie Bush and him raise up and maybe hit that tight end in behind these linebackers. A classic Peyton Manning move that we saw hit that tight end on Thursday night down in this red zone so often. You might see a little play fake here and a throw down the field.
Ricky.
Second down and 7. Stafford guns it to the end zone and finds Calvin Johnson for a touchdown. No! He was out of the back of the end zone. The two officials getting together and saying no.
Yeah, this is a back shoulder throw, beautifully thrown. Calvin Johnson in great position, left foot doesn't. I think it hits. Obviously, it looked like it came on the back line. The chalk, so to speak. Actually, it's ground up tires right here. That was a good call by the officials. Whoa, you talk about a game of inches. You don't think this isn't a game of inches? Look at that. Wow, how many of these things have gotten away from the Lions today?
Well, it's not only when you miss that chance, but now what do you do afterwards? And the Lions, after all of that, going to spend a timeout. Big third down coming up.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Miller Lite, it's not just a good time, it's Miller time. By State Farm, it pays to double check. Talk to your agent today. And by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV.
Third down for the Lions at the Minnesota 16-yard line. It's a 3rd and 7.
Under here.
Lions trying to take the lead. Burleson, a catch, and inside the 5-yard line, just outside the 1. What a great throw.
This is the ultimate in trust between a quarterback and receiver. This back shoulder wasn't really even a back shoulder. It was a back gut throw back into Burleson. Nice job. I mean, as a DB, there's only not much you can do with one of those back shoulder throws.
Reggie Bush. And it's signaled a touchdown for Reggie Bush. His first as a Detroit Lion. Now he's just got to find his shoe.
Someone will put it for him. Classic Reggie Bush. Start one way, a little counter step back the other way, back against the grain. Strength and speed on the outside.
So the Lions have the lead for the first time today. And the play, as always, is under review. Not sure what it is they might be reviewing, but they're going to do it just to tie a ribbon around.
Well, the question is, was Reggie Bush down by contact or not? You're going to see him come around the edge. He is contacted, but does he reestablish himself as a runner not going down? His shoe comes off. and he kind of slips down. It looks like the knee as it's going down has not crossed the plane, but is he indeed down by contact?
After reviewing the play, it was short of a touchdown.
Evidently.
The runner's left shin was down prior to the ball breaking the goal line plane. It'll be second and goal on the Detroit hash.
At some point after contact, you can reestablish yourself, but right here, he is down and the ball has not crossed the plane. The question I would have had is, did he go long enough right here? Has he reestablished himself? You can see there the knee is down and the ball has not crossed the plane. I would question, did he reestablish himself in the open field?
Second down inside the 1-yard line. Joik Bell has checked into the backfield. And he gets the ball. And no disputing that touchdown. Grew up a Lions fan to Joik Bell in Benton Harbor, Michigan, and we mentioned he starred less than a handful of miles away from here in Wayne State.
Aaron Henderson blows through the gap, almost gets there, but Bell with that size. This guy's 220 plus pounds, Tom. That's the kind of size combination to go with Reggie Bush you like in your goal line package.
So now the Lions officially have the lead for the first time. And Akers for the point after to make it a 6-point lead, which he does. They're excited in Detroit. Joik Bell's touchdown gives the Lions their first lead of the game. 10:19 to play in the third quarter. 20-14. Detroit in front. Lions a 4-10 win. A 4-12 season last year, had 4 wins, and Jim Schwartz called it humbling. That was after their playoff season. The 6-win decline tied New Orleans for the biggest drop in the NFL last year. Life's not always what it appears to be. We thought Calvin Johnson touchdown. No. Officials said no initially, but yes on the touchdown to Bell. On this one, no. Left foot out of the end zone. And on this one by Reggie Bush, no. But Joik Bell winds up getting in. And Jim Schwartz team with a 6-point lead. So now all of a sudden the pressure clearly swings to Minnesota's Christian Ponder, as Peterson has been bottled up since the 78-yard touchdown run. Never be without football. Get coverage of every NFL game on NFL Mobile. Call ** NFL to download NFL Mobile today.
You know, Tom, this field is 120 by 53. There are 22 bodies on it at any given time. And you watch that sequence of plays. I love this game. It's literally inches in every play that make the difference.
Blitz coming. Ponder a wobbler, but somehow, some way, it is caught, and a beautiful catch by the former Packer Greg Jennings, 3-time Pro Bowler.
Just a skinny post on the backside. This is the hardest catch for a receiver there is. Low behind you on a dead sprint at basically just a slight angle. That's a heck of a catch. Christian Ponder needed to bring it up just a bit.
Well, Fairley came across the line of scrimmage. Was he drawn off?
Encroachment, defense, number 98, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Well, back in Los Angeles, let's go back for a game break. Here's Joel Klatt.
And we go to Buffalo, where in his first start as a rook, E.J. Manuel tosses his second touchdown pass. Stevie Johnson on the other end of this one, 18 yards. Bills up 21-17 over New England.
How about that?
E.J. Emanuel reminds me a little of Steve McNair, who I had for.
Really?
Oh, yeah, he really does. He's got the big, strong, powerful gait about him. Going to be an interesting athlete to watch.
This is where Ponder threw the interception earlier in the game, but this time has a little bit of running room. And he carries for a first down to the Detroit 43-yard line.
And you see the speed of Christian Ponder there I was talking about. Again, it doesn't sound real fast, but he's a 4.62, 4.63 guy at the combine. You think about Cam Newton. Cam Newton only ran a 4.59. Now, RG3's 4.41. Okay, we're not going to go there. But he's got good speed. It's interesting that he's not as fluid in the pocket to be that kind of athlete we don't see on a down-in, down-out basis.
Back in the hands of Peterson, and that's one of his better runs in quite some time. Pyle shoved forward all the way down to the 35-yard line. That'll be a gain of 8 on first down for Adrian Peterson.
Detroit knew they had to be better against the run. Their defensive ends are better run stoppers in years past. Cliff Averill, Kyle Vanden Bosch, good players, but more pass rush guys. They felt like they needed their ends to be stronger at the point of attack to take advantage of the big bodies they have inside.
They'll call it a gain of 8. A long 3, and flipping it into the hands of Peterson is Ponder. It's a dangerous play, but Peterson got positive yardage out of the play and might have enough for a first down depending on the spot. I'm sure they're going to have to measure this.
You're going to see Justin Bannon on the inside. Again, we always talk about an inside pass rush presence that makes it tough. Nice job by Ponder to get out, but oh boy, you see that as a coach, and it's just, you know what, that can sometimes have disaster written all over it. Up into the point, Adrian Peterson pulls it down and runs 80 yards for a touchdown. Then it's a good move.
All right, third and less than a yard.
Vikings are 0 for 4 on third down.
Play action. And thrown badly behind the intended receiver, John Carlson, as Ponder was being chased by DeAndre Levy, and Levy levied the hit.
On third down, asking your quarterback to go to his left, a right-handed quarterback. We've already seen disaster fall upon Christian Ponder in this situation. Nice job by Levy not buying the play fake, getting into the face of Ponder.
So now Blair Walsh, what a spectacular rookie he had a season ago. A long one here of 52 yards, and for Blair Walsh, who set an NFL record, going 10 for 10 from 50 and beyond last season, nothing to it. Walsh picking right up where he left off from a season ago. 11 of 11 now in one season, and nearly 3/4 of a game from 50 and beyond. Now, Brian, they do such a spectacular job of following Vikings football in the Twin Cities, and I'm sure someone is going to ask the question, and if they don't ask it, I'm going to ask it. Third down in the yard. You decide you don't want to run the ball because the other team thinks you're going to run the ball with Adrian Peterson. Okay. But you pointed out earlier, do you roll a right-handed quarterback to the left on a 3rd and 1?
It's a great tendency breaker because you're countering the run with a play action. You got your quarterback going opposite the way you'd normally do it. But there again, it's all about putting athletes in the best position they can to execute a play. And I don't know that taking a Christian Ponder to his left to throw in a critical situation is what you want to do on a regular basis.
Well, we saw him throw an interception rolling to his left, and that was a big interception near the end of the first half.
It was, because they were about to take over this game body and soul had they been able to move down even for a field goal in that situation.
Ponder slammed to the deck after that incompletion a moment ago. Bush picks up 2 on first down. Empty backfield this time as he splits far to the right.
Right here. Under.
That's a free shot for Robinson on Stafford, who got it away. Third down coming up and 8 yards to go.
Stafford looked like he was waiting for Pettigrew to make a move inside or out, and he did neither. And so finally Stafford just had to get rid of the ball. Again, great pressure by this front four of the Minnesota Vikings in only bringing 4 players.
Minnesota without a single third down conversion. The Lions just 2 of 8. And this one 3rd and 8. And that is Reggie Bush out of the backfield, and Reggie Bush with a man to beat. That is a touchdown, Reggie Bush.
This is the matchup you're looking for. Excuse me, on the other side, Reggie Bush coming on the linebacker, Rocky McIntosh. They haven't gone to Bush on 3rd down yet, so they've kind of ignored him. You're not putting nickel guy on him. Excuse me, I've got the wrong side. Chad Greenway. And that's just the matchup you want on Reggie Bush. You haven't gone to him the outside. You're not putting a nickel guy on him. You're not putting a safety on him. As good as Greenway is, he's not the guy you want matched up on Reggie Bush.
Sounds like we're in the Bronx in October. Reggie, Reggie, they chant in Detroit. All of a sudden, the Lions on top by 10, but a long way to go in this one. Reggie Bush goes 77 yards. And what a spectacular debut it's been for Reggie Bush. Former Heisman Trophy winner out of USC. Spent his first 5 years with the Saints. And the first time we get a look at Cordero Patterson. And look at this. Whoa, what a perhaps touchdown saving tackle there by Don Carey on Patterson. Now this isn't rushes, this is touches, both in the backfield and out of the backfield. 19 touches for Reggie Bush, 16 of those running, 3 receiving, almost 170 yards.
We spoke earlier about in his big breakout year in New Orleans when he first went there. He had 155 rushes to 88 receptions. It was that combination, that 250 to 270 touches on the year, that's going to be the optimum for Reggie Bush.
Stuffed at the line of scrimmage is Peterson by Willie Young. Let's go downstairs to Laura Oakman.
And what we're seeing of Reggie Bush today, which is exactly why he signed with Detroit. He said they put in a tape of Calvin Johnson and the defensive looks that he got. And I sat there smiling, going 5-6 guys in a box. I'll take that all day. I saw 8 or 9 in Miami. He said his biggest thought was no more stack boxes. Thank you, Calvin.
Once more to Peterson, who cuts it back to the inside, and he's out across the 27-yard line. 3rd down upcoming.
Now, in the interest of fair disclosure, let's make it clear in visiting with the Lions. Obviously, Reggie Bush was a great pickup. Reggie Bush has been pushing for being an every down back. There weren't a lot of suitors for him in the offseason. The Lions did a nice job. There weren't a lot of teams coming after Reggie Bush. He chose to go to the right team, but there were limited choices for him. So it was as much about the Lions choosing him as much as it was him choosing the Lions.
3rd down and 6. And that is a 1st down reception made by Simpson. He has been the go-to guy today. Simpson, his 4th catch for better than 70 yards. Only 1 reception by Kyle Rudolph, the all-pro tight end, and 2 receptions by Jennings.
Most people remember Simpson from Cincinnati for flipping over the defender.
We were there.
We had that game. That was the most incredible athletic feat. I always ask, when does it occur to you to do that? When do you decide, you know what, I'm going to flip over the top of this guy?
Lofting it down the sideline for Jennings, incomplete. Good coverage out there by Darius Slay, the rookie out of Mississippi State.
Gunther Cunningham, the defensive coordinator, you know, they've spent a lot of assets on the interior of the defensive line. 3 of their last first-round draft picks have been in the defensive line. But they know their secondary got to get better. They got out and they got Glover Quinn to go with Louis Delmas, and picking up Slay was also a big pickup for them in the draft.
Ponder just his 14th pass attempt, and it's jarred loose from behind. It's on the ground. And who got it? Ansah stripped it. Lodeholt claiming he had the ball, and the officials say it belongs to the Lions.
But I think this is coming back with the penalty. I think Ansah was offsides. Got a little bit early jump on it, unless he was enticed.
And we will wait on that penalty.
Over here on that right side, you're going to see him get a jump. Ansah on the extreme edge. Gets off just a little bit early. Coming off on that right side. I'm afraid for the Lions fans, this thing's going to get called back, and they're going to be none too pleased about it. Matt Khalil's a pretty good tackle. It's hard to imagine him getting beat clean without a jump by the defensive end Ansah.
Offside defense, number 94, a 5-yard penalty replay. Second down.
I think most of the crowd here saw it.
That doesn't keep him from booing, though.
No, you're right about that.
That's the emotional response.
Let's talk about Khalil. He was their first-round draft choice, second highest offensive lineman the Vikings have ever taken, followed by former USC alum, one of the all-time greats, Ron Yeri, back in 1968. So it's second down and 5 rather than the turnover. And looking down the field, and is it caught by Simpson? What an unbelievable reception by Jerome Simpson. You just talked about his athletic ability. Here it is again.
And Ponder put him in the most difficult of situations. He's got to throw this deep and away because of the safety in the middle of the field. That makes it a brutal over-the-shoulder catch. You almost have to catch that thing looking upside down. You're seeing this thing like you're hanging upside down, and he had control all the way. Jim Schwartz wisely challenging it just because of the impact of the play, but he clearly had his hand underneath it. This is a reception.
I got to tell you, I mean, unless we see a different angle we haven't seen yet, I would question the challenge here by Schwartz. Well, they're going to take a look at it, and we'll take a look at it. He appears to have it there underneath his body.
Well, you can see here, this is all about, did he maintain control? Did the ball touch the ground? It looks like his arm is underneath. The ball moves, but it never touches the ground. He has control. I don't know how you turn this one over. I understand Jim Schwartz challenging out of desperation. No one had time to tell him whether it was a catch or no catch and the gravity of the situation, but they're going to be down to 1 timeout because of this challenge now.
After reviewing the play stands as called.
It was a reception, so after the failed challenge and what could turn out to be a very, very tight down to the final minute or 2 game, the Lions have 1 timeout remaining.
I talked about a team's ability to run the ball in the red zone. I think you're going to see a Minnesota Viking team here who obviously with an Adrian Peterson is committed to that run compared to Detroit, who down this situation threw the ball a great deal. They may play action fake and try to throw it after all, but I'd imagine we should see a heavy dose of Adrian Peterson here.
And that is the rookie. Patterson breaks a tackle, and he's inside the 5. First time we've seen him catch a pass. That's his first NFL reception. He says, hey, I'm not coming back out. I've been standing on the sideline the whole game.
And that's that Percy Harvin type play we talked about, where he's on the outside, get the ball into his hands quickly and let his athleticism be the difference in the play.
And look at the personnel grouping on the field. You've got Patterson a rookie. You've got Joe Webb, a converted quarterback, now a wide receiver. Now they're at the bottom of your screen. Peterson. Maybe a yard. Hey, we called the name Willie Young a great deal today. We made a baseball reference about October earlier. They've been calling Willie Young Mr. August for the last 3 years. All the damage he does in the preseason and very quiet during the regular season. He's had a good game today.
And he's a part of this defensive line rotation that the Lions and defensive coordinator Gunther Cunningham is banking on their belief in their defense, not just their front liners, but the depth that they can roll through here.
Peterson will lean out to the end zone. A touchdown, his third of the game.
This is nothing more than a little shuffle pass. Christian Ponder turning his back again, comes up blind. That Willie Young you just talked about. Boy, how do I get this ball off? Talk about the different angles a quarterback has to execute a throw. I don't know that you practice it quite that way in the sidearm. And can I find an alley to get the ball into Adrian Peterson's hands?
So now the point after by Walsh is good. And we have a 3-point game with 1:37 to go in the third quarter. I tell you what, man.
NFC North divisional rivals. Opening weekend. You love it. Absolutely love it. Well, if you didn't hear the first time, Tom, I'm going to tell you it again. Wednesday, an all-new episode of The Ultimate Fighter. The tension between rival coaches Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate boils over when their number ones square off. And it's one of the most shocking battles in Ultimate Fighter history. Don't miss all new episodes of The Ultimate Fighter this Wednesday, only on Fox Sports 1.
To be dialed in. Adrian Peterson, 6th game in his career. He scored 3 touchdowns, and that ties him with the former Minnesota Viking great Chuck Foreman for the most 3 touchdown games in a career as a Minnesota Viking.
These were the 2 principals in that drive. A lot of big plays by Simpson. And that's exactly what the Minnesota Vikings need. We know they can run the ball. Christian Ponder is a capable quarterback. Do they have enough assets outside to create that balance to not just go to the playoffs, to get past the first round and truly make a run at a Super Bowl?
Spurlock waiting on a kick by Walsh. And he will step out of the back of the end zone.
Barry Sanders, I faced this guy way too many times. Talk about the big playability. And now Reggie Bush. I don't want to quite put him in Barry Sanders category, obviously, but Reggie Bush could do a lot of things that people saw here in Detroit out of Barry Sanders. I think he's a little bit more physical a back than Barry Sanders. But Reggie Bush could be a key ingredient if Detroit is indeed going to find itself back into the playoffs and balance up its offense, passing and rushing.
They were in the playoffs in 2011. How in the world was that ball not at least batted down by a Minnesota defender? Instead, it's Patrick Edwards on the catch. And that'll be a gain of 10 on first down. So you still go back, though. Brian, you go back to Ansah jumping off sides, encroachment on what turned out to be a hit, a fumble. Detroit would have had the football, but the fumble or the penalty, of course, nullified the play, and it gave Ponder and the Vikings yet another chance. And that drive ends up with a touchdown. Joy Bell on first down.
And now it's really a guessing game for Scott Linehan, the offensive coordinator, Matthew Stafford. They've shown they're willing to run the ball. So now can they force Minnesota out of their traditional 2-deep coverage? That time you saw Jamarcus Sanford come down into the box, evidently make the tackle. If they can force more of that type of coverage, now you're going to get the big plays to the outside. We haven't heard from Calvin Johnson yet this half.
They've been on top of their game offensively today. Pettigrew, last time he touched it, he fumbled. And he tries to get the first down. And I don't know if he did. He might be about a half a yard shy on what will turn out to be the final play of the third quarter. Well, they're going to stop the clock for a measurement. Now you go back to the Pettigrew fumble. Their last 3 drives have all ended in touchdowns. 8 plays, 70 yards. 7 plays, 50 yards. 3 plays, 80 yards. Going back to the Bush, 77-yard touchdown reception.
Well, you could make a case that Minnesota really hasn't stopped them all day long.
Yeah.
They've stopped themselves with the penalties, the fumbles, and that bodes well for going forward if they can eliminate those things. Here again, an interesting 3rd and short, Tom.
There are just so many interesting decisions and plays you thought were touchdowns, interceptions returned for touchdowns that were taken away by a penalty. I mean, there has been everything and then some in this game today, and that's the way the third quarter will come to an end once they crank up the clock. Settle in for 15 more minutes of NFC North football. 27-24. Fox NFL Sunday continues after a break from your local Fox station. We are set for the final quarter in Detroit. 3rd down and a foot. Do the Lions run it or do they throw it?
Boy, you're attempting to just do the quarterback sneak here.
That's what they do. And it looks like Stafford has it. Stafford's a big man. He goes 6'3", 232 pounds.
Well, and you got 4th and inches, and it doesn't make sense to turn around and hand the ball off 4 yards deep, but Minnesota knows that too.
Detroit 14 points in the third quarter. Minnesota answering that last drive with a touchdown, scoring 10 to get within 3. I mean, the numbers are just unbelievably and overwhelmingly in favor of the Lions, who have moved the ball up and down the field seemingly at will.
Stay with
Joy Bell, Harrison Smith, along with LaTroy Guion up there to bring him down after a gain of a little more than 2. And really that last drive added significantly to the Minnesota yardage.
Yeah, this number would have been a lot more dramatic except for that last drive. But as we've said many times, it's all about scoring and the big plays. There's been enough big plays made on both sides. There's no question that Detroit has played better and has been more in control of this game, save for the knucklehead plays and the offsides and the penalties.
Boy, there have been a pile of them in this game that have been a huge impact on what the score could be as opposed to what it is, and Stafford will just throw it away. I mean, you go back to the Ndamukong Suh illegal block after DeAndre Levy had intercepted a Ponder pass and had run into the end zone. They took that away. That last drive, Ansah jumping off sides early, hits a quarterback who fumbles the ball.
Louis Delmas headbutting the receiver out of bounds after the play. That's what Jim Schwartz, as he said to Laura Oakman, the penalties that happen within the play, that's fine. That's going to happen. It's the outside, before a play starts, like procedure, and after a play's over. Those are the ones that kill us.
3rd and 8. Stafford looking around. What an open field tackle made by Greenway. Pro Bowler each of the last 2 years. Young man who grew up on a hog and crop farm in Mount Vernon, South Dakota. And Smith was there to make him down first.
Those open field tackles, particularly against a big back like Bell, those are the hardest things to do because you want to be able to wrap up, but all it takes is for that back to give you a little juke, and now he breaks free for a big play. Open field tackle shows the sign of a good athlete.
And I beg your pardon, Harrison Smith. I thought I saw 52. That's 22. Harrison Smith, who started all 16 games as a rookie last year. Big play there. See where they spot this. They're still walking along the sideline.
Today's game is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By Taco Bell's new fiery Doritos Locos Taco. Live Moss. And by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
Minnesota with the football. You go back to last year when the Lions went 4-12. The fourth quarter, a disaster. Allowed 158 points. Ponder finds Simpson, and that's a first down out to the 37-yard line.
This is a drive that will test Christian Ponder. They're going to need him along with Adrian Peterson to make a lot of plays just like that. Fake to Peterson, pull the linebackers up, get in behind it, and that second level.
Peterson stood up by Adonijay. First time we've called his name today. Spent the last 9 seasons with the Chicago Bears and coming off a good year for Lovie Smith's team last season.
This front seven of the Detroit Lions is as advertised by their coaches as being bigger, more physical, and more sound, because they've done a nice job for the most part in bottling up Peterson.
Peterson fumbles the football. And neither team really sure whether their team has it or not.
Well, I don't know how you're going to sort this one out.
Ansah now pointing along with Levy naturally that the Lions have it. And Lodeholt and company are walking off the field as if the Lions have it. And they do.
And this is as much on the quarterback. Christian Ponder stumbles coming out. John Sullivan, or excuse me, it's the guard stepping over Fusco that stumbles Christian Ponder. I don't think Adrian Peterson ever got a clean handle on that. That's a hard one to lay on Adrian Peterson, because you can see he starts to go right here, throws his stride off, puts the ball all the way across Peterson. He never got a handle on it. Now, do you go for the end zone? Typically, change of possession on the 40. This is where a team will typically go down the field. Calvin Johnson, haven't seen him all half, might be a place to take a shot down the field.
Well, you hand it off to Bush. Evades one tackler. Penalty flag down. Broken tackle from Sanford, still on his feet. Turns a would-be negative play into positive yards, but once more we wait on a penalty.
Holding, offense, number 13, and their penalty, replay, first down.
That was Nate Burleson. He was holding Josh Robinson.
Yeah, they motioned to, anytime you motion a wide receiver into the body of the formation and ask him to basically be that offside tight end and block, usually good things don't happen. Undersized receiver trying to make something happen ends up holding on to the ball. You can see here where the defense of the Detroit Lions, yeah, that first one was ugly, but since then they've done an excellent job bottling up Adrian Peterson.
So now 1st and 20. You were at the 39. Now you're all the way back at the 49 and batted down second time. Jared Allen has done that today. We check in back in Los Angeles at game break to Joel Klatt. Joel?
And we stay in the NFC North to Chicago. Jay Cutler to Brandon Marshall. His hit looks okay there. It's first TD catch of the year. 24-21 over the Bengals.
You can make a case that this NFC North, top to bottom, NFC North is the best division in all the NFL, because even the bottom team, and I don't know who that would be right now, it can be competitive. They're the only division in the NFL that has had everybody in the playoffs at least once the last 2 years.
Underneath to Bush, what a hit. And once more, that's a safety, Harrison Smith.
We saw Reggie Bush, just a little dump off pass, go the distance, tried the same thing. The linebacker couldn't keep up with him. Harrison Smith says, that's all right, I'll come up and take care of him.
Very important third down upcoming. A lengthy one for the Lions at 3rd and 19. They need to get to the 29 of the Vikings.
Typically here, it's got to be a catch and a run. You're going to have a tough time throwing it the distance for a first down.
Almost intercepted by Smith in the secondary. And a flag down. Did they hit Safford late?
Oh boy. You talk about the very definition.
Roughing the passer, number 98, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Wow. So after so many of those have gone the Vikings' way, an inopportune time now for LaTroy Guion on the late hit.
Yeah, and I don't think it was the lateness as much as that they hit to the helmet right there. I think that's where they got him.
Grifford, a clean shot.
But it was the hit to the head.
Yep.
That's what brought about the penalty. And it's tough because Stafford's in the grasp. He's going down. It's not like he was aiming for his head. That's a tough one.
An automatic first down to the 32-yard line. Stafford on the keeper and wrapped up by Jared Allen. Is that a busted play? You're not going to design that for Stafford, are you?
No, like I said, the zone option, boy, it looked like he pulled it out. You talk about we got after Minnesota a little bit for rolling Christian Ponder to the left. I don't know I want Matthew Stafford to do that a whole lot.
Well, you could read his lips when he came back to the huddle. He said, that's my fault.
Yeah, I don't know if it was designed or he just figured he wasn't close enough to actually execute the play.
Under 9.5 to play.
Looking for a matchup with Reggie Bush flanking outside.
And that is a speedy Patrick Edwards. Good gain there on second down. It'll bring up another third down. My, oh my, the difference here between a touchdown and a field goal. You punch it in the end zone here, and you make it extremely difficult for the Vikings.
But I mentioned earlier, they're in that area. You've got to be very careful. A sack can maybe take you out of the field goal. You got a 3-point differential, right? A field goal now means a touchdown has to beat you, not just a field goal to tie you. This is a dangerous area. This is where you've got to have your quarterback protect you and not take a sack under any circumstance.
That had no chance from the start. And a flag comes in late. And the rookie Xavier Rhodes got tangled up with Calvin Johnson. This would be a second straight penalty to keep this drive alive against Minnesota.
You might have gotten away with this at Florida State, but right here, he's just riding him. Now, you could say I had position, but Calvin Johnson, once you get evened up, you've got to give the receiver a free pass. He jumped into him late after having him early. Unfortunately, I think that's a legitimate call. Calvin Johnson kind of gave himself up, figuring, well, I'm not going to get this because this guy's ridden me pretty good.
Two huge penalties on this drive against the Minnesota defense to extend the drive.
Nice.
Johnson took a lick from Harrison Smith, knocking his helmet into the air. So that Harrison Smith now, he'll put a hat on.
Yeah, watch what this play fake does to the linebackers. You've got, look at it, takes him out of position. This is a tough throw. Quarterbacks hate slant routes because they're not absolutely sure what's underneath it. Yeah, you can beat the outside man, but with that play fake, he's got to be comfortable the fact that he's going to displace the linebacker to open up that window for the slant.
2nd and 2. Bush tried to spin his way to a first down and nowhere to go. He may have lost a half yard. All right, Coach Billick, here we go once more. Very first drive of the game. They tried to run it on 2nd and 1, didn't get it. Tried to throw it on 3rd and 1, didn't get it. What are you doing here now? 3rd and a very long 2.
I'm going to do your favorite play. I'm going to throw a fade into the end zone. What do you think? No, I don't know. They're going to test how much they want to run the ball here. I might play fake to Reggie Bush, or what's the matchup with Reggie Bush here? Who's got Reggie Bush over here on the left side? Unless that's Joik Bell.
That's Bush in the backfield, and they hand it to him. Very close to the end zone. Is it a touchdown? It is a touchdown for Reggie Bush.
No question about that one breaking the play.
What an unbelievable Detroit Lions debut for Reggie Bush.
I talked about Bush maybe coming out of the backfield, but now he comes opposite that, away from the coverage. You saw Harrison Smith dropping down maybe to take Bush one-on-one on a 3rd down, so you don't relegate that to a linebacker. The question here, his knee is down. This is going to be challenged. It crossed the plane, but not before the knee is down. Clearly by contact. Detroit, how many times has Detroit looked like they had a touchdown, and now we may have to run another play?
And of course, it's not a
challenge, excuse me. It's a natural review. He's on a scoring play. Caught me on semantics there.
Yeah, that's right. And so it looks like his knee was indeed down before the ball broke the plane. Looks like the ball will be just outside the 1-yard line.
What, this is what, the 2nd or 3rd time where what looked like a touchdown? They're going to have to, and we talked about what's the emotion of that? You got a touchdown. Oh no, we got to come back and run another play. All but from the 1-inch line.
Well, even if it's spotted, no matter where it is, inside the 1, right at the 1, it will be a first down. That was a 3rd down conversion.
But you still have to go out and execute. And that's what Leslie Frazier's thinking right now. At least they've got to run another play, or in this instance, a couple more plays to try to get in. A lot of things can happen. And you know what? The way this game's going, it might very well. You know, the players are up there looking at the screen in the age of total disclosure. Everybody can see what everybody else is seeing. This is sure taking a while. And we have the technology now. I'll get on my replay mantra like I do every year. I think we can bring this strictly upstairs. I don't know why we have the peep show booth down there. That cost me $25,000 one time when I, after game, said Johnny Greer. I said he couldn't have been. I think he was looking at pictures of his grandkids because he couldn't have seen what I saw. That one cost me 25 grand. I believe this is down by contact, and we're going to have it on the goal line.
After reviewing the play, the runner's right knee was down prior to the ball breaking the plane. The ball will be spotted at the 3/4 yard line on the Detroit hash.
And this appears to be Joik Bell territory. We're going to look at it again here. He's just smelling the goal line here, but the knee comes down right there. No question about where that is, and it looks like the ball clearly hasn't crossed the plane.
So Bell may very well, Bush rather, may very well have what could turn out to be a 2nd touchdown taken away, and have Joik Bell come in and clean up behind him.
I like that 220 plus pounds in this situation. Or throw the fade.
And it is a touchdown. First career touchdown for Fourier.
he's acting like it's his first. That's okay.
So you got to keep the football, don't you, Coach?
Yeah, see, that's a rookie mistake right there. It's not even occurring to him that, wait a minute, I need that ball. How excited is he right now? This is an undrafted free agent from UCLA. All 6'7" of them, and 6'7's probably being a little, he's probably closer to 6'8". He is fired up. Look
Great
at that.
stuff.
Look at that. It hadn't even occurred to him that ball is nowhere to be found right now.
Point after is good. Apparently what goes around comes around. Take a little time for the fans. And then you come back and have things go your way. Very odd drive there by the Lions. A scoring drive on the first career touchdown by Fourier. A couple of Minnesota penalties kept it alive. And now it's a 10-point spread, Coach, with just under 7 minutes to go.
And this is going to challenge the Vikings because this is not their kind of game. This is going to put it clearly on the shoulders of Christian Ponder.
Patterson is going to bring it out. And the rookie is dropped to the 15-yard line.
Yeah, that's his first time.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by GMC, the official vehicle of the NFL.
Welcome back to Ford Field, Detroit, Michigan, where the Lions have a 10-point lead and 6:40 to go. Thrown behind Jennings. He had beat the defender off the ball. Just a poor throw by Ponder.
Well, he had to throw it behind him because DeAndre Levy was right underneath. It would have been picked if it had thrown that on the target. I told you our quarterback's 8 slant routes. You got to do something to hold the underneath coverage. You assume the outside guy's beat. Nothing held Levy there. That could have been a pick 6.
Pump fake, looking for Rudolph. Slightly overthrown, 3rd and 10. Minnesota, the Detroit defense rather, has really played well here today. This was obviously not the Lions' strong suit last season, especially when they ended the year on an 8-game losing streak. They gave up 31 points per game during it. Done a great job on Peterson outside of the first play of the game. And we haven't heard much from Rudolph or Jennings. And now Ponder rolling and just throws it out of bounds, and it is 3 and out for the Vikings. That entire series took 16 seconds.
Well, Detroit started out when Jim Schwartz got here, went offense with their first round, took Stafford, took Pettigrew, but 3 of the last 4 drafts have been in the interior, and Ndamukong Suh. Then they came back and got Nick Fairley. They've got Ziggy Ansah. They went out and got Glover Quinn, the safety, to go with Louis Delmas. They've reshaped this defense, and it looks pretty good right now.
And that's Spurlock up to the 41-yard line. Lions with the ball and the lead.
Well, this is going to be the true challenge for the Detroit Lions. We talk about their commitment to the running game. Can they close out a game up by 10 in a 4-minute mentality? I know we're at 6:12, but this would be Joyke Bell territory. I know Reggie Bush is in there right now, but this is where you typically would want to be able to run the ball to grind the clock down and keep the win.
Well, they're going to start running it with Bush. And another solid pickup by Reggie Bush up to the 48-yard line. That's a gain of 7 on first down. Bush, 19 carries, 79 yards. He's averaged a little better than 4 yards per carry, and out of the backfield he's caught 4 passes, one of them for 77 yards and a touchdown. Into the open field, and Bush, a first down to the Minnesota 41.
Again, Reggie Bush just showing both speed, size, power in this instance. I'm not sure we shouldn't see a little more of Joyke Bell right now. Reggie Bush, we talked about, we know he's not a 350, 400 touch guy. You've got a good command of the game right now. It's early in the season. I don't know that I don't put my now. Giving the ball to Reggie Bush isn't a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. And I'm thinking a little more long term in terms of keeping the hits off of a Reggie Bush in a game that I think I can control.
Bush again. And this time stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Let's quickly go back for a game break to Los Angeles, and once more Joel Klatt.
And guys, we go back down to New Orleans. 4th and goal, 4th quarter. Atlanta not going to get it done. Matt Ryan trying to find Tony Gonzalez, and Roman Harper intercepts it. The Saints win it 23-17.
And of course, that's a return of Sean Payton. We saw the Saints in the preseason, and everybody wondering what kind of difference he would make to that franchise. I mean, I can't imagine the environment, Brian. We've done a lot of games down in New Orleans. Most of the time they've had very, very good teams, but that had to be an emotional game today. Division rival squaring off in the return of Payton.
You asking me if coaching makes a difference?
I'm asking.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. We got Joyke Bell in the game now. This is his territory now to pound away with a big Joyke Bell as we're closing in on the 4-minute mark.
Double. Bell wrapped up by Greenway down to the 36-yard line.
Your 4-minute offense by design says I'm not going to give the ball back to the opponent. I've got to get a couple first downs. Reggie Bush has had a heck of a day. Look at him scan there. This little jump cut that he's certainly capable of out of the backfield. You know this is going to be a big part of the offense. And now the explosion. Hang on to the ball going over the top. The quick screen or the shuffle pass underneath, and now you're not going to catch him from behind. You forget, because of what has happened to him over the years, just how explosive this guy was back at SC when he was the first overall pick.
Third down and 4. Trying to extend this drive and take more time off the clock.
If you're going to throw the ball here, this big tight end with that long reach is not a bad way to go.
Stafford tried to find Reggie Bush, and it's incomplete. So do they try what would be a really long field goal here, or do they just go ahead and punt it?
Yeah, up by 10. You're going to try to punt this thing down inside the 10. This is a test for the rookie. You know, we've seen he's got a big leg. He's been kicking off and booming it.
How about that?
Oh, boy.
Billy Sims, the last player to have 100 yards rushing and 100 yards receiving in the same game. That's the last Lion to do it. Arian Foster, the last player in the NFL to do it, and that one can't get much tighter than that.
Beautifully done.
Television event of the season finally here Monday, September the 16th. The Legend Reborn. The writers and producers of Star Trek. Don't miss the epic series premiere of Sleepy Hollow. This town is anything but sleepy. Monday, September the 16th, 9 Eastern, 8 Central on Fox.
That was a nice exchange for the Lions. Get a little bit of yardage. Yeah, you didn't convert on third down. Your rookie punter comes in, puts it down on the 1 or 2 yard line, 1 yard line. Minnesota Vikings staring at 99 yards, down by 10 with 4 minutes and 17 seconds.
Well, this will be one of those games, maybe a year or 2, 3, 4 years from now. You'll look up and Adrian Peterson, he's got over 5 yards per carry, 88 yards, 17 rushing attempts, but that does not begin to tell the story of the job the Lions have done on defense today. As Rudolph on the catch, short of a first down. For those of you just joining us, Peterson on Minnesota's first offensive play went 78 yards for a touchdown. He has carried 17 times since then for 13 yards. Ponder sacked. Back-to-back series where the Vikings have gone 3 and out.
Well, against this defensive front of the Detroit Lions, dropping back down by 10 is not where you want to be in the shadow of your own end zone. And now we go back to at what will be about 3 minutes. Going back to Detroit, trying to close out the game.
Well, they're going to go for it.
Yeah, why not? I could. They kind of going for it. Decided, changed their mind. Yeah, 3:19. You kind of understand it. Of course, if you don't get it, they're going to be second guessed for it.
Detroit had to spend a timeout. They weren't ready defensively. They're fun team to come out. Coming up next, Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader. Aaron Rodgers, Kaepernick square off Packers and the Niners from Candlestick Park. That's coming up next on America's Game of the Week. Check local listings for the game in your area. Some will see the Cardinals. Carson Palmer making his Arizona debut. Some people are excited, thinking the Rams are better. They certainly were better last year, their first year under Jeff Fisher. But what about that Packers-Niners game?
I can't wait to see what defensive coordinator Dom Capers comes up to try to stop Colin Kaepernick. They gave up 263 yards rushing by Kaepernick the last time they saw each other. Dom Capers, one of the best in the business. I'm going to be anxious to see, as is the rest of the league, how they're going to try to rein in this dynamic quarterback Kaepernick.
4th down with 3:19 to go. Peterson juggled it, caught it, and that's a first down. Up to the 15, and obviously Ponder trying to get him up to the line of scrimmage. Looking down the sideline and in and out of the hands. Coverage out there by Houston. He is really the only proven commodity in this Lions secondary. You know, Brian, you were talking about all the draft picks they've had on the defensive line. Their biggest problem has been in the defensive backfield and keeping guys healthy. They drafted 3 cornerbacks last year. Only one of them stuck. Over the last 4 years, they've had 15 defensive backs in the season on IR. 15 of them. Ponder to Peterson. And that's very close to another first down.
But they've gone out and addressed the secondary. They got Houston from Atlanta. As we talked about, Glover Quinn came from Houston. And the defensive coordinator, Gunther Cunningham, again told us, along with what they've done in the front 7, he's most excited about what they think they can do in the secondary with those 2 safeties, a healthy Louis Delmas, along with getting Glover Quinn, and the young man Darius Slay, who they got in the 2nd round. So a lot of confidence about this defense here in Detroit.
First down catch made by Simpson. He's had a good day today. 7 receptions, 140 yards. Really, he has been the only factor in the Minnesota passing game.
And they think him healthy for the first time. He wasn't 100% healthy last year. That he's going to make a big difference for them.
2:23. But not over yet. They hand it off to Peterson. And that was sniffed out all the way by Levy. Also, the bottom of that pile is Fairley.
Well, Detroit let them have all this they want. You can give Adrian Peterson the ball all you want for these 4 and 5, 6 yards carries if you want, because there's just not enough time left on the clock for that to be the difference in this game.
Final play before the 2-minute warning, and dropped behind the line of scrimmage is Peterson by Rasheem Mathis. And that takes us to 1:55, the 2-minute warning. Lions that amount of time away from a win in the opener. 3rd and 11, Minnesota down by 10, under 2 minutes to go. And Ponder backpedaling. And a catch is made by Jennings. Far short of a first down.
But they got to go for it again if you're going to go for it on 4th down on your own 10.
They better hurry up.
Yeah, you got to do it here.
I mean, obviously what you're hoping for is to hit a long one and maybe give you a chance for an onside kick. Down the middle of the field, too tall for Rudolph, and it's intercepted. Glover Quinn slides down at the 43, and that ought to just about do it with 1:21 to go.
Well, like you said, Tom, you got to take a shot down the field. That's the only way you're going to try to get a win. Well, Detroit knows that too. They know that that's where that shot has to go. Otherwise, you'll throw it underneath all you want. You'll let them have that. Overthrows a little high for Rudolph. Grover Quinn does a heck of a job just waiting for the carom.
All right, I got a quick question for you. We showed you the numbers a moment ago. This is Reggie Bush's debut as a Lion. He is sitting on 93 yards rushing. There's not been a Lion that went 100-100 rushing and receiving in one game. When you're standing on the sideline, would something like that even pass through your brain or be brought to your attention, or could you care less?
It's brought to your attention. Now, they're already in victory mode, which is where they should be because this game's over. And Reggie Bush is going to understand that. Yeah, it is important, and you are going to be aware of it, but particularly on the opening game. You know, Reggie Bush is new to the Lions if it were a league record or something like that. But for the Lions, yeah, it's important, but they're doing the right thing.
All right, let's talk about now what both of these teams face. We are going to see the Minnesota Vikings. Talk about a tough way to open your season. You go on the road at Detroit. They're on the road inside the division again next week against Chicago, who came back late to beat Cincinnati today. And this is Brian Billick's power rankings going into the year.
Yeah, and obviously I'm off to a good start putting the Vikings up above the Detroit Lions. This was an impressive start for Detroit. As you said, Minnesota's got to go on the road here in Detroit, then on the road to Chicago. Now, Detroit is a good home win. They got to go to Arizona, and Arizona can be a tough out in Arizona. Then they've got to go to Washington. So they got 2 rough road games coming up.
And it should be noted, the Lions ready to go next week. These Minnesota Vikings are the first team since the '85 Atlanta Falcons that will not have back-to-back home games the entire year, because they're playing a home game, you may remember, over in London against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So a good start for Detroit. Not only winning its first game of the year, but winning inside the division, where they did not win a game all of last season. For Brian Billick and Laura Oakman, Tom Brenneman, so long from Detroit.